This video is brought to you by Sayorite. Visit Sayorite.com for all your project supplies, tools, and instructions. Some window shades use corded lift lines which perform very well, but the lift lines can be dangerous to small children. By using a ladder safety tape, you can reduce the chances of possible strangulation of small children by limiting the size of the corded loops. In this video, we'll show you how to install the ladder safety tape on a new corded window shade and also an existing corded window shade. On a new shade, the ladder safety tape is attached to each one of the locations where a ring would be attached. Here we're using a clamp and attaching it to the rib with the ring attached to it. This is for a Roman shade with a roller clutch kit. Alternatives for affixing the ladder safety tape to the rings are sewing it to the shade at the ring location or tying the ladder safety tape at the ring location. Here, the rings for our lift cord are spaced no more than 8 inches apart. Then the ladder safety tape is attached at each ring with the shade laying flat on the table and the tape being drawn with minimal slack between rings. This ladder safety tape is a preventative method which helps to reduce or eliminate hazardous loops for improved child safety. To completely prevent strangulation, consider using cordless products. After the ladder safety tape is installed, then a lift line is fed through it. We'll show you more about that in a little bit. Here's an existing shade that only has rings and a lift line attached. We're going to add the ladder safety tape to it. So here we are measuring from the top ring to the bottom ring, then adding 12 inches to that measurement. Multiply that figure by the number of lift lines. This shade has 4. On a new shade, you would simply install the ladder safety tape using clamps, sewing it in place at each ring, or tying it around the rings. On an existing shade, we recommend tying it around each one of the rings. We're going to show you how to do that next. From the last ring down, we should cut the ladder safety tape about 12 inches longer. This will be used for tying knots. The lift lines need to be removed from the rings. At the bottom of our shade, we used cord adjuster orbs, so we can simply remove those. Yours may be tied in with a knot. At the top ring, we will tie the ladder safety tape to it. We will form an overhand knot here and then tie it to the base of that ring which has been sewn to our fabric. To ensure that we have it secured well, we'll create a second overhand knot at that top ring location. This will secure the ladder tape firmly in place at the top of our shade. Then we'll lead the ladder safety tape to the next ring going down the shade. We want to make sure that the shade is laying flat on the table. We also want to make sure that the ladder safety tape has minimal slack between each of the rings. As you progress to the intermediate rings, we'll tie a overhand knot over them. Use a screwdriver and you can manipulate the location of the overhand knot so that there's minimal slack between rings. Be sure that the shade is laying flat against the table as you determine where the knot should be placed, and then draw the knot up snugly to the base of the ring. Follow this same procedure for every intermediate ring until you reach the very last ring on your shade at the bottom edge. This shade that we're attaching the ladder safety tape to is a relaxed Roman shade. Because this is a relaxed Roman shade, this is the last working ring, rather than having the ring at the bottom of the shade as it is with typical Roman shades. So at this ring is where our ladder safety tape will end, and we will create 2 overhand knots there at that ring, just like we did at the first ring at the top of the shade. Now we can refeed the lift lines through the rings and the ladder safety tape. For maximum safety, we recommend feeding the line under and over every single ladder or middle section of the ladder safety tape. It can be done easily as we are showing here in the video. This will help prevent hazardous loops. Upon reaching the next ring, be sure to go through the ring with the line and then back through the ladder safety tape until you reach the next ring. This relaxed Roman shade is a little bit different than normal Roman shades, so a cord adjuster orb has to be attached before we reach that final ring where the ladder safety tape stops. Then we'll feed the line through that ring, and there is no need to go through the ladder safety tape anymore because the line is so short here at the bottom edge of this relaxed Roman shade. Then a final cord adjuster orb is attached at the end. Now we just need to repeat that process for all of the other lift lines. After completing, we'll reinstall the shade and check for safety here. Let's take a look at the back side where those large loops used to be located. According to the American National Standards Institute and Window Coverings Manufacturers Association, a head probe should not pass between loops. And as you can see, by using the ladder safety tape, we no longer have a hazardous loop for the lift lines. And as we lift the shade with the lift lines, you can see how the line easily moves between the ladder safety tape. And here you can see it working on a Roman shade with roller clutch system. You can order the ladder safety tape for your next shade project or for a current shade that you'd like to modify at Sailrite.